Hi, Carl.
Hey Ben, how's it going?
Great. I'm doing wonderful. The preseason, it's it's upon us. It's almost over, actually. We've got a bunch of games today and maybe a few tomorrow, and then
Yeah, and then I think we're done after that.
we can finally move on with our lives. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
play some actual football.
taking forever. Feels like we drafted like 3 weeks ago.
It does, really does.
I think we did though, didn't we? I mean, I think that's
Yeah,
probably accurate.
pretty much.
Okay. All right.
That's entirely accurate.
Well, I'm really excited because Carl is here to grade some teams with me. And Carl has told me he's got an agenda, he's got an axe to grind. So be on the lookout for that. Um, as you can see here, we've got our great ESPN chart, which looks like, an autistic child put it together, but it's got colors and there's arrows and things.
Very
Um,
exciting.
it's something. Uh, we're going to look at a couple of teams. We are going to look at Cody, who is down here. ESPN has him sliding backwards into number 10. We're also going to look at Ryan, and ESPN has him sliding backwards into number 3. So that's not nearly as fun, but we'll take a look. I've got the Fantasy Pros chart here, and I'll throw this up as well, just for reference. Fantasy Pros likes Cody a little bit more. They've got him at 7 right now. And here's a bunch of bar graphs that are hard to make much sense of. Maybe we'll pull that back up here in a minute too. But let's start with Cody's team. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can look at that a little bit easier. Right. So I'm going to start at quarterback.
It's a reasonable place to start.
You'd think, right? So we've got Tua, and we've got Bryce Young. And Tua, Tua I think doesn't get much love for whatever reason. I mentioned this once before. If you take out the injured games, Tua actually finished the year as like a quarterback 5 per game. So he's got a lot of upside. He can get things done. Obviously, yeah, he's got the weapons, Bryce Young, I'm probably not as in love with.
He's a huge question
rough.
mark at this point. I mean, he's a rookie. He's playing for the Panthers. Who the hell is he throwing the ball to? Who's he handing it to? Like, I get why you grab him late in the draft. I get why you put him on the bench. Absolutely. But hey, he doesn't really register much as far as grading at the moment. As far as I'm concerned right now, we kind of grade Tua, and Bryce Young's just a throwaway.
Right. Yeah, I think Bryce Young is, if you want to back up, and you do probably want to back up if Tua is your QB1, but I think Bryce Young is easily improved on, and it's probably advisable to do that. But right now, yeah, I mean, Tua, he's got upside. There's also a fairly healthy pinch of risk there, so I'd call it a C,
And, I was going to give him a B because, I mean, Tua's upside is, legit, top couple quarterbacks. If he stays healthy, if he stays on the field, like he could put up huge numbers, do great things, or his brain can fall out his ears. Like it's, I could pretty easily be talked into a C as well, just because it's he could be an A+ player, he could be a fail. It's really hard to say what you're going to get out of him, whether he stays healthy or not. So, yeah, well, you said C. Let's give him a C. What the hell?
All right,
I'm on board.
We'll stick with that.
All right. We'll just split the difference. Yeah. Moving on to running backs.
Let's look at running backs. And you might need to fill this in if I'm missing any. You've been really good at calling me out. So I've got Aaron Jones. Don't be dumb. Aaron Jones, Travis Etienne, Bijan, Kenny Walker, AJ Dillon, Zeke, and Kareem Hunt. So, and please don't let.
Can we start with Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, I was gonna say don't forget the $60, but yeah, go.
The fact that Kareem Hunt is currently not on a roster and cost literally 60% of the free agent budget for the year. Yeah. Okay.
Mistakes
that
were made.
alone has to drop the grade pretty harshly. But Zeke, I'm just not sure what he's worth at this point. It's really hard to say what he's actually going to do in New England. Dylan and Aaron Jones, I like both of them as football players, but Jones is definitely the better of the two. But they also kind of eat into each other. It's like, I mean, you're never going to pick the right one. If you play one and not the other, you're going to get it wrong pretty much every week because that's just how fantasy football goes. And if you play them both, I mean, like you're using two players to get one running back production. ETN I really like. As I recall, he was really good down the stretch last year, so that's a good one. Bijan, incredibly high expectations for that guy. I don't see any real reason to think he won't hit him, but he is a rookie. You never know. Walker, I like. I think I expect Walker to get most of it, but it's hard to say at what point Charbonnet might start eating into it too. So, I mean, running backs all in all, I think are solid, not great. I think I was going to give him probably a B, but I feel like I got to drop it to a B- because of Kareem Hunt.
So I said, if you can get over Kareem Hunt, I gave it an A, because, like you said, I think Bijan. People are really hyped on Bijan. They really, I've heard this stat a few times. Something like 10 of the last 12 running backs selected with a top 10 pick or better have finished as an RB1 in fantasy. So if teams recognize they got the talent and they're willing to spend it, it's basically assumed that they're going to hit that potential, So Walker has a lot of talent. Yeah, that timeshare could be murky, but I think right now it's his to lose.
I agree.
Aaron Jones, yeah, he's going to get the work. AJ Dillon is essentially an insurance policy that you just leave on the bench for now, right? But
right.
I think Aaron Jones, there's no reason to believe that he's not going to get a lot of those receptions and everything. So for me, I really liked it. I thought it was an A group, with an ugly $60 on Kareem Hunt that you just try and get over. But yeah, the timeshare thing is a little bit disconcerting. I agree. That's tough to get over, but
yeah. But to be
yeah.
entirely fair, like that's something you got to deal with on just about every team at this point.
Right. Yeah.
There aren't many guys that aren't in a timeshare, so
there's like 3 or 4 guys. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Wide receiver group. We've got Hopkins. We've got Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Adam Thielen, and OBJ. Am I missing anybody?
No, that looks like all of it.
Okay.
I feel like Cody's missing somebody, but it looks like all of the players on his team. Save the line bet. You want to.
Okay. Picture this. The year is 2019. Your starting receiving core is Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, OBJ. You just prematurely ejaculated into your pants because this is a wide receiver group to have 4 years ago. The year is 2023, though, right? So how does that stack up in today's world?
You got Hopkins, who's catching balls from Ryan Tannehill, and who knows what to expect there. Absolutely no idea. Godwin and Evans, similar situation. Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask, 6-1, half dozen the other. I've yet to be convinced that Odell Beckham isn't just entirely broken. I don't know if he's ever coming back. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Big question mark. Thielen, definitely hitting that age threshold, and Bryce Young is throwing him the ball. Don't know what you're going to get there.
I guess he caught a touchdown today. Does that do anything for you?
Not really.
Okay. Just
And
throwing it
that
out
just
there.
leaves Amari Cooper, who great player, but even as a Browns fan, there's some questions there as well. Is nominally Cooper's the top dog in that receiver room, but is he going to catch passes like he is? Is Deshaun Watson going to look like he did 3 years ago, or is he going to look like he did in the second half of last year? So there's plenty of potential. Like there's a lot of guys who have put up a ton of fantasy points in the past, are entirely capable of doing it again, but there's big question marks on all of them. So it's excuse me. It would be nice. Like I'd feel better about this group if there was one guy in there that I felt was just a lock to do great.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of these guys have talent. I don't think the talent has completely evaporated from, Mike Evans. I don't think
No.
the talent has even completely evaporated from like Thielen or OBJ. I'm super skeptical on OBJ, but the last time he played, he did pretty well, for the Rams. Granted, it was a year and a half ago, but you're right. There's a lot of upside, but right now it's really all unrealized upside,
Yeah.
So
I feel like it's a lot of paying for past performance and hoping that they replicate it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm just not sure how many of them are actually going to. But that being said, we're talking about 6 or 7 guys. We acknowledge they all have talent. Odds are fairly good that 2 or 3 of them come through.
Yeah.
So he might be all right.
For me, I gave it a B-.
I was going with a C. So
okay. So if we split, I mean, yeah, we're right in that same range.
We're pretty close again.
So, yeah. All right.
Let's move on to the next one because it's going to be really fast.
We had one tight end.
Tyler Higbee.
As the resident Rams fan, Tyler Higbee is
Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can say. Rams fans, those of the Kool-Aid drinking, would say it's not his fault. He was forced to be a primary blocker the last year, and so he didn't get to be utilized in the passing game as much as he should have been. I'll tell you right now, looking at the O-line, I don't see reason to say that that's changed. So,
and I mean, it's not like that's a team that's just totally stacked with receivers. If he was a great receiving tight end, they let him run routes and get someone else to block.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that he could do something, and frankly, let's be honest, there's a fairly decent chance he could end the season as a top 10 to 12 tight end.
That's not saying much.
Well, it's not, but it's also not the end of the world. We only have 10 teams.
Right.
But let's just be real here. I give it a D.
Yeah, I in that same vein, knowing that there's really only 6 secure starting tight ends. I guess I'm not sure what the right word is there, but if you don't have one of the guys that stop at like Dallas Goedert, what the hell difference does it make, right? So
you see, I agree with that, and I would suggest that if you are one of those people, you should throw 2 at it. Like you should have Higbee and I don't even know who else, but like
I see what you're saying.
If you don't have the one guy who's a lock, you throw 2 guys who have a chance.
Take a lotto ticket. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, pretty much.
That's fair.
All right. That's what I did. I threw David Njoku and Cole Kmet at my team. One of them's got to be all right, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of guys who caught a touchdown today, Njoku caught a touchdown today.
There you go. Look at that.
Still the final day of the preseason, so it's freaking meaningless. But hey, take what I can get.
All right. Let's keep this train rolling. We're on to
Absolutely.
the
Moving on to the
linebacker.
defense.
Yeah. We've got Shaq Leonard, Jordan Hicks, and Jack Campbell, who, fun fact, is Dan Campbell's son. So there's that. Just three guys. The way I see it, Shaq's a ticking time bomb. And he's already in the concussion protocol before we've even played a game. So I think concussions cost him like 3 weeks of his awful injury snake-bitten year last year. So probably not a great sign. When he's healthy, though, he's going to go nuclear and he's going to put up 20 points a game. So
definitely a stud when he's on the field. He just needs to actually be on the field.
Right. Jordan Hicks, I got really ahead of myself on this. So Brian Flores is the new defensive coordinator, right? Flores really only plays one linebacker looking at his 3 years in Miami. So if Hicks is the guy, that's great. That's really good. But they've got Brian Osmoa, who's much more athletic and people were excited about. And now they've got this rookie, Ivan Pace Jr., who has just been receiving rave reviews in camp, and coaches have said it's just a matter of how much playing time he's going to get. So I don't know. Maybe Hicks is already in a timeshare in a pretty limited role as starting linebacker. There's that. And then there's Jack Campbell, who people were really excited about, first round draft capital for a linebacker. But in the preseason, all the starting snaps have gone to a different guy. So, so I don't know. You would think that at least a couple of these guys should be solid options, but it feels very questionable.
Some pretty serious doubt for all of them. I agree. I didn't know the whole, Flores one linebacker thing with regard to Hicks. So I was thinking a little better of him before you said all that. Campbell, kid's got talent, but they're again rookies. You just never quite know for sure what you're getting. And like you said, Shaq, great player. It's tough to rely on him to be on the field. It's tough. And considering that this is the deepest position group on defense, and we're only carrying 3 of them, that scares me a little.
Yeah, that's.
But that being said, the flip side of that is you can probably find some on waivers if these guys don't pan out. You can probably find some guys to fill in some gaps. So, I don't know. C-. My one note on this was it's fine.
It's
fine.
The more I dug into it, the more skeptical I was on some of the, especially Campbell maybe having to take a backseat role early on, and just the general what's going to happen in Minnesota vibe with the new D coordinator.
Sure.
So I went with a D, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's potential with everything, and
right.
Yeah, the waiver wire is hot with linebacker. So
always is.
Yeah.
At least early on.
Oh, for sure. D line. We've got a bevy of D linemen here. Maybe
heaping pile.
Maybe too many. I don't know. We've got Aiden Hutchinson.
Absolutely too many.
Yes. Hutchinson, Daniil Hunter, Lucas Van Ness, Sam Hubbard, and Montez Sweat. So, what are your thoughts?
Well, I like Hunter. Hunter always does a good job. So that's a good one there. Hutchinson is, and as I recall, he came on pretty good towards the end of last year. Everyone's pretty high on him going into this year. We haven't seen it just yet, but I think there's a good chance he could, do really well, put up a lot of points. Hubbard's typically been pretty solid. Van Ness is getting good reviews, but there again, like I've said a couple of times already, rookies, you're never quite sure exactly what's coming. And then Sweat, I guess I just feel like he's kind of a bonus on there. Like I don't know what the hell to expect from him. anytime, really. So like I think we've got a solid group. I don't know. I probably would have swapped out Sweat for another linebacker myself. But Hutchinson, Hunter to start, and Van Ness and Hubbard to, kind of fill in some backup spots and hopefully pop up and, do well. I think it's a solid group. I don't know that I'm super excited about it because, it's solid. Like Hunter's good, Hutchinson should be good, but we're still not talking anyone on like Bosa, Donald, Garrett, Watt type of level.
Right. Yeah.
And I would love to see one, and obviously not everyone can have one of those guys, but I would feel so much better about this group if there was one guy that I thought had that kind of potential. I don't think any of these guys have a realistic shot to lead defensive linemen in fantasy football this year.
I really like Hutchinson to take a big step. I mean, he had like 9 sacks last year, forced fumble, a couple things. I really think he could build on that. But yeah, the rest of these guys, I'm not as excited. I mean, yeah, they're solid, but especially with D line, if you're not, what did we find? I think D line 10 or like D tackle 8 are kind of the magic numbers where if you're not above that, your guy is basically replaceable. So, and the rest of these guys, I don't know if I'm feeling it. Which isn't to say that they're bad by any means, I mean,
right.
You need 2, maybe 3 to start. So you got that covered and then some. Yeah, I gave it a C-, which again, I'm not like hating any of these guys by any means, but yeah, to your point, it's just hard to go, oh damn, I can't wait for Sam Hubbard to take the field this year because he's gonna blow shit up. I really like Hutchinson, but yeah, the rest are all kind of, cute.
And to Hutchinson, you made the point in the last video, and it's absolutely true that sacks are unreliable.
Yeah.
Like he could have a way better year on the football field than he did last year and come out of it with 6 sacks.
Fair point. Yep.
Like, and I don't necessarily think you will, but like that's kind of a risk that you're taking when you're talking about someone who's, likely still going to be fairly sack dependent. Actually, the position is, fantasy football, the position is pretty sack dependent.
Right.
So I mean, it's hard to say, like, can he up the sack production? He very well might. No guarantees. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Let's quick hit the defensive backs for Cody's team. Nate Hobbs, Justin Simmons, Quandre Diggs. Of the 3, I like Justin Simmons, and that's about it.
I like Simmons. I don't necessarily hate Diggs, but I can't get excited about him. I can't get excited about Simmons either, just because he's had some issues staying on the field as of late, and not that young anymore. So it's hard to say. That might continue. That might be fine. Hobbs, I guess, doesn't. I always hesitate when it comes to corners. For the most part, some of them are fine. Some of them are listed as corners, play more like safeties.
Mm-hmm.
But corners are often kind of dependent on interceptions,
right?
Which are really fluky and unreliable.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not a bad group of D-backs. It's just it's nothing special. It's very much just okay, whatever.
We could say it's bad. I gave it a D. It's
I feel like he can probably improve on it, but maybe he can't because Ryan has all of the defensive backs.
That's Believe it or not, it's true.
Yeah. Is that a teaser for a coming video, or are we going to try to see if we can knock out another team after we're 20 minutes deep in this one?
Did we go that long? Okay. You know what? We're going to stop there then. And the next time we'll see you, we'll talk about Ryan's team. Ryan, I know you're on pins and needles because I just know you are. Okay.
Yep.
We'll check back in. All right, thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Ben. Bye, guys.
So I'm going to stop recording.